Good morning and welcome to another What I Eat in a Day. I started off my day by getting my bone broth out of the refrigerator. This is something that I do every single morning. I usually just heat it up for around 2 minutes. I really like to make my house super cozy in the morning, whether that means starting a fire or turning on some lamps. Today was a cloudy, cozy, rainy day, so I turned on some lamps and I had a little fire going. While I was drinking my bone broth, I decided to do a little bit of manifestation. After I did a little bit of manifestation, I made some coffee. I have been really liking to drink my bone broth first and then make coffee, and I've been putting this vitamin D plus K2 into my lattes. And I love to top my coffee with cinnamon. You know those moments where you're in bed and you're sleeping and then you wake up because you have a great idea and you're like, okay, I need to write this idea down. So that was me last night. I was sleeping and then I started dreaming about this toast and I was like, okay, I have to make this toast tomorrow. That sounds so delicious. I started off breakfast by slicing some sourdough. Sourdough is naturally fermented, so it's great for your gut health. It contains prebiotics, so it's easier to digest than regular bread. I sliced up an avocado, which is high in fiber and helps with your digestion. I spread a little bit of Dijon mustard on this toast. This was the ingredient that I was dreaming of that would just take this avocado toast to the next level. Recently, I've been obsessed with putting microgreens on everything, and microgreens are great for your gut health. They help to nourish the gut bacteria. They're also high in antioxidants. I added a hard-boiled egg. Eggs are a great source of protein. I finished this off with a little bit of sesame seeds. These are high in magnesium and healthy fats, which help to lower your blood pressure. And then I also finished this off with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of lemon. The Dijon mustard toast was absolutely insanely delicious. I think if I was going to be making this again, I would change it to be mustard seed toast. I think that would be delicious. Usually once a week I meal prep, and I really like meal prepping lunches so that during the week when I'm busy, I always have healthy food to grab and eat. Even if I'm in a hurry or I have somewhere to go. It also makes it so much easier during the day so I don't have so many dishes that I'm always doing. I find that when I don't meal prep, I often grab for more unhealthy choices because I don't feel like cooking in the moment or I don't have the ingredients that I need. Today I'm gonna be prepping a blackened chicken salad bowl. I love eating bowls for lunch because they're super filling, they're healthy, but they're not too heavy. I started by slicing some sweet potatoes. I'm trying to slice the sweet potatoes as thin as possible. And then I put those on a baking tray with some chickpeas. I am gonna bake this at 350 for about 40 minutes. The chickpeas don't need to go in for this long, and I did make a little mistake here. I just drizzled on some olive oil. I'm using the snake oil from Brian Johnson. And then I put that in the oven, and then I had my cut up chicken. I added a good bit of salt. I also added some pepper and some fresh garlic. I have an amazing deal on all of my meat from Butcher Box. This is the highest quality meat I've ever tried. I've been using this service for 2 years. It's super amazing. They deliver it right to your door. It all comes frozen. There's no antibiotics in this meat. There's no hormones. There's no steroids. And it's just some of the highest quality meat I've ever used. I get all of my meat from Butcher Box. While everything was cooking, I took a few handfuls of kale and I massaged some lemon and olive oil on the kale. If you've ever eaten kale and it's still tough and it's not soft, it's because you need to massage either lemon or oil into it. And when you do this and let it sit for just a few minutes, the kale will soften up and it just tastes so much better this way. I'm gonna do a more detailed video about my supplements, what supplements I take, why I take them, the best brands, etc. But right now I have like a pretty big supplement lineup. It's 11 pills. Such a wimp, I have to take these one at a time. You always want to make sure that you take your supplements after you've eaten something so that you don't feel sick. I plated a serving of rice, added a handful of kale, added some sweet potatoes, added some chickpeas, added a few scoops of chicken, and then finished off with a little bit of cucumber. I also drizzled some sea salt on this and some more lemon on top. And then I put the rest of it in these meal prepped containers for lunch for the rest of the week. I always get so snacky in the afternoon, so I'm gonna make a little protein yogurt bowl. This is a staple for me. Sometimes I eat this for breakfast, sometimes I eat this for snacks, sometimes I eat this as like a dessert. I literally eat this every single day. I'm obsessed with it, and it's so easy, and it's full of protein, and it's super healthy, and it tastes like ice cream, so what more could you want? Yogurt is such a great source of protein, so I added a serving of yogurt into this bowl. I also added some protein powder into here. Although this looks like it's not going to mix, you just need to stir it in and it will mix right up. I really like eating snacks with a lot of protein, and this yogurt snack is one of my favorites. It's super healthy and just delicious. I usually add berries into here. Today I added blackberries, I added some frozen mini blueberries. I also added some seeds and some nuts. I love pumpkin seeds, I love goji berries, and this turns this little snack bowl into something that is just so healthy, nutritious, full of vitamins and protein. And then I finished this off with a little drizzle of honey. I'm about to start prepping dinner. I'm making spicy honey mustard salmon bowls. I love cooking salmon because it's so easy. You can cook it so many ways. You can put it on a pan, you can bake it, you can put it in the air fryer. There's so many ways to season it. Tonight I'm going to be making the salmon in the oven though, so I just preheated the oven to 350, and then I also put on a cup of rice. The salmon bowl is so easy and so delicious and so nutritious. I feel like after a long day, I want something that's easy to cook for dinner, which is why I love this dish so much. And I also really like this because it's a one-pan dish, which makes cleaning up super easy and fast. I am making a homemade honey mustard for this, and it's totally worth making a homemade honey mustard. It tastes so much better. You know exactly what's in it. There's no sugar, there's no additives, there's no preservatives, and it's super easy. For the dressing, I started off with Dijon mustard. I then added a little bit of mayonnaise, about 2 tablespoons. I added some honey. I did about a tablespoon of honey. I added half of a lemon. I added some chili powder, some cayenne pepper, some salt, and I just shook that around to make the homemade dressing. On my baking sheet, I put some broccoli, and then I also put my salmon pieces. I also got this salmon from Butcher Box. They have the highest quality salmon. You want to get salmon that's super colorful. And then I drizzled this again with my olive oil and then sprinkled on some garlic powder, some chili powder. And then I plated all of this. I did a serving of rice. I did a few scoops of the salmon. I did a serving of the broccoli, a piece of toast with butter on it, and then I built a little mini salad to the side. And then I drizzled the honey mustard dressing all over, and this meal was one of my favorites I've ever made. It was so tasty and super easy. Recently, I've been testing a ton of new meals and just adding them in my notes section on my phone. I really like to have meals that I know are good and I know exactly how long they take to prep them. I completely annihilated this. It was delicious and will definitely be making it again. I usually like to finish off my night with a tea, I usually like to go outside, get some fresh air, play with my dog, and enjoy my tea before ending the day, and that is exactly how I ended today. I love cute and fun mugs. This is one of my favorite mugs that I own. It says Cup of Courage on the front. And that is everything that I ate today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.